Welcome back to Radiator Automotive. We're working on the Mustang again, and today we're going to be cutting up the hood. So I got these louvers from racelouvers.com. It comes with two louvers. This is the RT trim made for the 94 to 98 Mustang. I went with the bolt-on, so it comes with black hardware, Allen head. That way we'll easily be able to take the louvers out, put them in for whatever we need. It comes with instructions and the templates. So these are full size of the louvers. So these will be what we'll put on there, trace out, and cut. Also, since it's 2020 and coronavirus, we got a mask. So seems pretty good. Then, once we're done with the louvers, we got some arrow catch hood latches. So these things are sweet. These are flush mount. They'll go on top of the hood with a piece underneath. And you just push that down, flip it up, lift off the hood. When you go put it back down, flip that guy down, and it'll lock into the hood pin. So these are going to will look good and be nice and functional. So why am I installing hood louvers? First, with a stock Mustang, it's a bottom feeder, so it has the air dam going right underneath the radiator, so that forces the air to go up and into the radiator. That then also causes a low pressure zone behind the air dam, which then helps pull that hot air back down and out the bottom of the car. You also have airflow that's probably going past the headers and down back behind that way. Now that I have a splitter that goes across all the way to the front of the K member, I'm blocking off that bottom of that area. I also don't have the air dam anymore to create that low pressure zone. So I have all this cooling air coming in, and the only places that it can then go is now out the backside of the K member, past the headers, past the engine. But that is a hot area. It's probably higher pressure. It can also try to escape outside the hood. It will lift up the hood and try to escape. So with creating or putting in the louvers, that gives a great place for the hot air to now escape. This will be like a low pressure zone, so it will basically just suck the hot air right out of the engine bay. Also with these louvers particularly, they also help increase downforce. So the first guy is more vertical, and then these ones are also above, helping create downforce while also helping cooling coming out. Nice thing about race louvers is all of theirs are wind tunnel tested. We know that they'll increase downforce, they'll increase cooling. The percentages that they advertise are obviously with the appropriate modifications to the rest of the car. I'm not going for max downforce or max cooling, but it will be greatly improved over the stock setup. So I got a piece of tape on each side right now, just marking where the radiator is. So according to the instructions, these need to be installed at least or around 2 inches behind the radiator. And then I also need to mark off of the windshield, I believe 20 inches. And that will be kind of the area that these will best function in for removing heat and downforce. So yeah, I'll just need to tape off the hood, measure from the top of the hood or the windscreen, however the instructions have it, get this all marked off, and then we'll figure out the placement of these guys. Alright, so I got my radiator line, 2 inches back from that. Start with putting it at the 2 inch. So at the 2 inch, I come back and I'm basically at around between the 23 and the 22 inch mark from the windshield. So that's all in a good location. So I have a little bit of room where I could move it back. So if I move it to the 4-inch behind, that puts me right around the 21-inch mark. So the next thing I need to do is also look underneath the hood and kind of see what obstacles I have with the engine bay area. So I have pretty much just a stock 5.0 engine in it. There's a good amount of room here. I do have a strut bar, so let me see kind of how far back the strut bar is from my radiator. So the strut bar probably is starting around the 16-inch mark. This bolt here is probably around the 19. But that's also in my center line, which I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to set the louvers yet. If I'm going to have them butted up together or spaced out. Also, it looks like the hood probably goes up a little bit. I need to get, so I can go ahead and take this stuff off and get this liner out of here. All right, the liner's out, so you can see that this kind of goes up a little bit. What's interesting, I don't know, so it looks like someone had cut these out. I don't know why. It was just a V6 car, so I can't imagine that someone was starting to cut out like hood louvers or something in there, but who knows. Another nice thing about this hood is it's fiberglass. I think all the SN95 and later cars have a fiberglass hood, which is really nice. Well, it'll be a little bit messy. So knowing that this spot is this bolt, I think my hood louvers are going to be kind of more in this general area. All right, so I don't think there's anything really under the hood that we should be concerned with that we're going to be interfering with once the hood louvers are in. So we can then go about trying to figure out how to place the hood louvers. To make it a little bit easier to visualize, we'll use the actual hood louvers. So kind of try to figure out what I think will look the best. So that's buttoning them up, basically making one louver. That seems like a pretty common setup. It's all right. I'm not sure if I'm totally a fan of it. So let's try doing it horizontal, or do it parallel to this line, which kind of helps this edge line up with this ridge of the hood. I'll try to even them up a little bit off the center line. Kind of like that one. It follows the natural line of the hood over here, or of these hood ridges. So that's kind of nice. Let's see if I do this edge parallel to the center line. It's not too bad, so like you can definitely see like along this edge, this line in the hood that it's narrower here and then gets wider up at the top. So I think it's between those two setups whether or not I want the spacing increasing in the middle or the spacing increasing on the outside. I after much back and forth, I think decided to go with having the vents parallel to the radiator line, which then will kind of follow this line on the hood, and it will have like an increasing gap down the center. So I'm going to have a 2-inch gap starting down at the bottom, and it will increase as it goes up. That will kind of align with, there's a 2-inch beam that runs down the center of the hood. So I won't have to cut out that, and it will keep the hood nice and rigid. I also don't want to be too far out from the center line, just because the hood starts to kind of roll off some. And the vents, so they bend pretty well in this direction, but in this direction they're very rigid due to the actual vents themselves. There we go. The spots marked out. This is getting cut out. This template can come off. Yeah, I'll take it off. So instructions say to obviously cut on these lines that are inside the template area, to cut kind of an 1/8 of an inch out to give some room. So I'll cut on basically the outside of the line. First thing first, drill out the corners. That will just make it easier to cut. Alright, the louvers are all done. They're bolted on. Had to do quite a bit more trimming and everything to get them to fit than just cutting on the cut line, but the instructions did say cut an 1/8 inch larger than the line. It just would have been nice if the cut line was on the template was 1/8 inch larger, but not too bad. It's all just fiberglass, so it was super easy to cut, as the mess left on the hood entails. So I just needed to clean everything off. But this hood's going to be getting painted and all anyways. It clears everything, so the closest thing looks to be this coolant pipe, but it is not touching. I could put a guard on it to keep it from wanting to rub on the louver itself. But yeah, we clear the alternator, the distributor down there, we clear this coil pack. There's the radiator right down there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, I like the angle. This angle matches up with this line here, which is nice.